actually almost 9:30. I've literally just got Enzo down for a nap, and I'm going to wash my face now and get myself kind of ready for the day. By ready for the day, I literally mean brush my hair and wash my face and my teeth, because it's another gloomy old December day. It's actually the 14th of December today. My vlogs are quite kind of sporadic at the moment, so they haven't been like every day in December or anything like that. Like, I've had a couple of days off in between and combined a couple of days here and there. So yeah, it's actually 10 days until Enzo's birthday, which is crazy. 11 days till Christmas. Holy balls! So yeah, we are having another kind of homey day today because, like I say, it's just really gloomy and miserable. So I'm gonna see what I can do while Enzo's down for a nap. What I want to do today is make banana bread, because I've got some bananas that are very past it sat in my kitchen, and I'm really just trying to kind of get on top of the house in general. I'm not sure if I mentioned this before. I basically want to try and get on top of things this week, and maybe a little bit next week if I need to, because I've got my friend's wedding this weekend, so I've like trying to do like bits of prep for that. And obviously, yeah, we won't be here for a couple of days. So I'm trying to get as much done as I can, because like, I feel like there's two types of people, and let me know in the comments down below what type of person that you are, if either. Like, you don't have to be, but if you are one of those people that wants to like get organised for the new year and have everything nice and just clean and fresh, are you the kind of person like me that gets it done before Christmas, so that the week in between Christmas and New Year you can just chill out and eat snacks and just have fun, you know, with your loved ones? Or are you the person that spends that week getting on top of the house? Let me know. Like I say, I am the former, and I'm okay with that. I'm quite enjoying the prospect of a week to just kind of sit down. Granted, I am a mother, so I won't be sat down all of the time, and I will still have stuff to do, i.e. washing up, laundry, etc. But I want to do all the mundane, deep cleany, so everything's like I say, nice and fresh. So it's just kind of maintenance. And yeah, that's just where I'm at basically. I'm gonna brush my teeth now, so I'm gonna disappear for a sec. I did ask on my community tab on here and on Instagram if you guys had any questions, because I really wanted to like include a Q&A in one of these vlogs, and I've got quite a few questions actually, so I might do that this afternoon. I'm also thinking of making some Play-Doh to play with Soph and Enzo. I'll probably do that this afternoon after they've had a nap and stuff, just to kind of bridge that gap. Anybody else just hate the afternoons? Like, mornings I can cope with, but afternoons, especially if naps haven't quite gone as I'd liked them to have, it just, yeah, I just dread them basically. So yeah, I'll show you what we get up to if we do end up doing that, and like I say, I'll do the Q&A in a bit as well. Good afternoon. So I promise it is actually the same day, but I decided to actually put makeup on and do something with my hair because I realised that I've looked like a toe for every other vlog so far. So that's what I did, didn't I? make myself hopefully look less like a toe. But yeah, so it is almost 1 o'clock. Soph is in bed. This one has just had his lunch and will probably be going up for a nap shortly too. And then I can get on with the Q&A. I might have a quick look through the questions when I'm upstairs, just so I'm not completely like flustered and stuff. But yeah, I think I might also second children, man. Second children. Whoa. I think I might also, maybe I should whisper this, make a cup of tea in my thermos cup thing before I take him up for a nap, so that I can have it when I get down, because they just sense you putting the kettle on, don't they? These kiddos. Yeah, for real life. So yeah, I think that might be on the cards, and then I might have one of my donuts that I got yesterday too. I might pop it in the microwave, make it all nice and squishy again, sit down with my cuppa and do my Q&A. So yeah. So I think I found an ingenious tripod, but I could well be wrong. You're currently on one of my dining chairs with a wooden toy garage placed precariously over it. I'm sitting on that. I'll just briefly show you. Ta-da! You literally just sat on the helipad up here, which, like I say, I think kind of works. So, both children are asleep. Well, I think Sophie is still anyway. So I'm going to get through these cues. I'm going to A some cues. I feel like that's something the TikTok people would say these days. Like, it's giving. It's the end of a some odd era. I don't even know. I don't get it. There's so many things that I don't get these days. So yeah, where are we going to start? Let's take the lid off my tea so it can actually start to cool and I can actually drink it. Oh, I think I just broken it. No, I didn't break it, I just went it back. Okay, so right. So first question is, how are you and how are you coping with 2 children? So, I did have another question actually that was on my community tab. Let me just grab it quickly. How is your mental health now? I'd love to know how you are. So, to summarise how I am in general and with my mental health, I'm okay. I've just recently started the process, or yeah, the beginnings of CBT again, which I'm not sure if I mentioned or not on the vlogs, but yeah, I had my first like proper call with them yesterday to kind of figure out a plan and kind of me to touch base with the person I'm going to be speaking with and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not really sure how I feel about that, because I tried CBT like over 10 years ago now and it didn't really work for me, and I only now in the last like year or so kind of recognised that there probably was a reason why it didn't really work for me, and that was my undiagnosed ADHD. It's still undiagnosed at the moment, so I don't like to say I have it, but I'm 99% sure I do, because a lot of the things that I struggle with at the moment are in that kind of like grey area of neurodivergent anxiety. Like, is it just anxiety, or like, do I have ADHD, like, or is it both, like mixing together? Like, it's just such a kind of awkward time, and I expressed to the lady yesterday that I'm not really sure. Like, obviously I know on like my anxiety and depression score thingies, I was quite high for those things, but I think a lot of it is because of my struggles with ADHD and not really knowing how to manage that rather than my mental health. And that kind of, like I say, kind of leads me to how I am now. I am kind of struggling a lot with a lot of those things at the moment, kind of day to day, and they are making me, like I say, I'm not sure if it's that that's making me feel anxious or just generalised anxiety, but I am struggling with those things like day to day, and also struggling with just parenting in general. Parenting is fucking hard, especially with more than one, and when one of those or any of those children have additional needs on top of your own needs that you're not really sure about, it's really fucking difficult. I'm going to be completely honest, it's really fucking difficult. And I have pretty much zero support when it comes to Soph. She obviously attends nursery 10 hours a week at the moment, and my mother-in-law comes up when she can to kind of help out and kind of give me a little bit of respite, although it's still not, like I'm still in the house at the same time as them, and obviously having to look after Enzo and stuff, so it's not completely, but it just kind of takes a little bit off of me. But yeah, I am struggling, but kind of like at the moment when people kind of message me and they're like, oh, how are you, like friends and stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, just like, I don't say yeah I'm fine, but I just say, and have been saying for quite a while now, I'm just plodding along. I'm literally keeping my head above the water, but struggling to do so. I think that's probably the easiest kind of way to put it. The other question I had on my community tab was wondering if it's okay to ask if you socialise much after having children. I think it's difficult for me, and also do you find much time for self-care? If so, how? So I'll go with the second question first. No. Do I have much time for self-care? No, I just don't. Like I say in the couple of minutes ago, having an almost 1-year-old and an almost 3-year-old with special needs, just generally upkeep of the house and everything, as a lot of parents will get, I just don't. It made me laugh actually. I had my grandma come up and stay a couple of months ago now, and kind of witnessed a little bit of how our days go, and she was like, oh, I don't know how you find any time for yourself. And I was like, gee, I don't. What? Yeah, so I just don't really. You can probably tell. Well, no, you can tell. I said a couple of moments ago that I have got makeup on and I've done my hair today, which I suppose you could say is self-care. I took a couple of minutes for myself today, and that was just when Enzo was down for a nap and I let Soph watch TV for a bit. I mean, you know, you do what you got to do. At the end of the day, you can't, especially as a parent, you can't pour from an empty cup. That is what I've learned. So if you need them to just sit and watch TV for 5 minutes, just so you can go, I'd say go to the toilet in peace, but that is not self-care. But just so that you can just have a minute. Like often they'll both be down for a nap, and like Soph will wake up, but she's fine, she's safe in her cot, and I will just say to myself, do you know what, I'm gonna go and have a shower because I just need a minute to just stand under running water and not think about anything else. So yeah, I kind of just take the opportunities when I can, basically. But yeah, they're very few and far between. And in terms of socialising much after having children, I don't really do a hell of a lot of that, especially since having Enzo. I said to the lady yesterday on the phone that I feel like since having a second child, I'm even less likely to go out now. I didn't go out that often when Soph was young and before having Enzo, just because she was quite unpredictable. But now I'm basically a hermit. Occasionally I'll kind of meet up with a friend that I have that lives on like kind of around the corner, and occasionally I will attempt baby groups and stuff, but it's very rare, and I tend not to socialise because it's really hard as an adult, isn't it, to try and like socialise and make new friends and stuff. And especially because I feel like I'm a bit weird. I don't know how to socialise. I guess a lot of times I do mask when I do try and talk to new people, because I feel like if I spoke to people how I want to speak to people, they wouldn't ever want to talk to me. So do with that what you will. Next question is, are you liking your new house? So yes and no. Yes, because I feel, so for those of you who maybe don't know, we are in a military quarter, but it's a new build. So it is really, really nice for the fact that, you know, things are, I mean, they're not perfect. It's a new build. If anybody knows new builds, they know they're thrown up really quickly and haphazardly and just not very good. So there are parts of it that's like, you'd think it would be really nice compared to a standard military quarter, but equally you're just a bit like why? Like the sealant around our toilet in our ensuite, for example, it goes 3/4 of the way and just stops. Like they didn't even finish it. It's just little things that you just think, just why? So things like that are nice, and the fact that it's not on the patch, it is kind of separate on kind of a new estate. So there is that kind of separation from the military side of things. I kind of just, like I said, since we moved here, I kind of just feel like a normal family almost, because my husband works Monday to Friday, he doesn't work shifts or anything. We just kind of feel like a normal family, which is nice. That will obviously differ next year when he goes away. But yeah, and then on the flip side of that, I'm not keen because, like I say, we're kind of away from the community and other people that kind of get it. And like I say, that will, I think, be even more apparent when obviously Joe goes away next, because I won't have loads of military spouses and families that just get it around me, which I think will suck. And yeah, just generally kind of being that bit further out is a bit shit because I don't drive, so it's just a pain in the arse if I have to just like pop to the shops, or, you know, if I do want to attempt a baby group or whatever, there's more to think about. So yeah. Next question. I think I had a couple of these of like how Soph was getting on in general, how Soph's getting on at nursery, and to answer that, she's getting on really well at nursery and she is coming along in general. She still has her moments quite often and is very, very hard work. Like toddlers, I think at this sort of stage, like I say, she's almost 3, are hard work anyway, but because she doesn't recognise her needs, she can't communicate them even if she did, because she could only say a handful of words and to her they have no real context yet. She can just kind of make the noises basically, doesn't really know what they mean or what she's saying, I think, a lot of the time. Maybe some of them she does, but yeah, it's just really hard when they can't communicate. It's basically like having a 1-year-old, maybe even less than that, but that's the size of a toddler. So obviously she's walking around and stuff, but I still have to do a hell of a lot for her and she's just extremely challenging. Next question is, what are you looking forward to in the next year? I'm going to have a quick bite of a donut before I answer that. Nothing. Nothing I'm looking forward to next year, to be honest. Like I say, Joe's going away for 4 months, so that's going to be hell on earth. It's my 30th next year, which is a little bit depressing. Joe's away for that, so it's not even like I can kind of just try and make the most of it and celebrate it. Can't afford to do anything. See, like I say, I don't drive, so can't even like just take nice trips anywhere. Yeah, nothing. Not looking forward to anything. As really depressing as that sounds. Next question. Have you personally been affected by the cost of living crisis? Now, I did see this and I did have a think about this one. Now, I don't want to come across like I'm in a really, really shit position, because I know that there are so many other people that are way worse affected by the cost of living crisis. So I'm going to keep this fairly brief. Yes, have personally been affected because we are a one income household, and it's hard. It's really hard. I mean, it's hard enough for people with 2 incomes, especially if you've obviously got children in childcare. It's just, yeah, it's just insane. Things like, for example, for things that we've noticed are that, you know, we're conscious of putting the heating on, or, you know, conscious of what things we buy when we do in our food shop, and things like that. Like, I've always been fairly frugal, and like I shop secondhand where I can anyway, and stuff like that. But I'm noticing more and more, like in the last year, that has like had to be like a, I don't know, like it's just even more of a thing. So yes, in short. Next question is, what's your favourite dessert? So this would probably differ if I could have dairy. To be honest, dairy-free desserts, I don't know. It would probably just be like a nice brownie or something. Whereas if it had dairy in it, I'd probably opt for a cheesecake. Yeah, I think so. I'm not really a dessert person. Like, if we went out for a meal, I'd rather have a starter than a dessert. Next question, I have them here to show you. Do you still have hordes of makeup like we all used to back in the day? So, maybe? I have more than the person who asked this question, put it that way, which was Elle. But I have significantly less than I used to. So this bag, which is just like a standard little kind of makeup toiletry bag, is all I have. Obviously there's a palette in there that it would normally close. I probably own all of the brushes that I used to still, so that is quite a lot. But in terms of actual makeup, and I probably need to have a declutter of this, to be quite honest with you, that is all that I have and possess. Elle also said, can we come and see you all again soon? Yes, of course you can. You don't even need to ask. Next question. I found this one an interesting one, and I did have a little think about this when I saw it. If you could have one do-over, what would it be and why? Now, again, I don't want this to come across the wrong way, or that I don't appreciate what I have, but I think if I were to do anything differently, it would probably have been to have saved and bought a house before having children. Like I say, I just kind of feel like we're in a bit of a position now where, you know, I can't afford to put the children in childcare to go back to work, and even if I did, we then wouldn't earn any more to put towards savings to buy a house. Can't afford a mortgage, all of this, that and the other. And I know, like I say, there are people that do it the other way around that are in a equally a shitty position, but it's just like that. We're never going to be able to save now, sort of thing, like, because of the cost of childcare and everything like that, and me not being able to work, or at least right now, potentially when both children are in school, so in another 3 years' time, that might differ. But yeah, I feel like, had I known how things were going to go in the world, which obviously you never do, 3 years ago or 4 years ago, then I probably would have thought differently about how we did life, basically. Next question. What have been Sophia's favourite things to do lately? So, she doesn't really like to do a huge amount, really, not at home. She's very much at the kind of exploring stage, exploring kind of what things do. She's very sensory orientated, so anything that lights up or like water play, stuff like that, she loves. But there's nothing else really at the moment that she's particularly enjoying, or not that I've noticed anyway. Next question. How do you stay so slim while having a hectic life of being a mum? Honestly, I don't know. Because this is my second donut I've had today. And I had 6, a whole packet of vegan samosa things yesterday. Multiple packets of crisps. Oh my god. I'm eating so much at the moment. And I can only assume the only reason I'm not gaining that much is
just because I'm breastfeeding. To be honest, because the amount of calories I'm consuming right now, it's literally not healthy. That, and obviously just the general hectic life of a mum that has ADHD, that can't sit down, this seems to contribute to the calories that I consume just being burnt so quickly. Next question. What's your favourite parts of parenting? Honestly, I don't know. There aren't really, and I guess this potentially is down to my mental health and where it's at. I don't often think, oh, this is like my favourite part of parenting. I don't, like I say, yeah, I think it might be to do with my mental health. I can't see those good things and I can't see those nice times and stuff, maybe. Things that I actually enjoy. Well, seeing them develop and stuff, but like I say, when you've got a child that has global development delay, that's really hard because a lot of those kind of milestones and developmental stages are delayed and or regress on, and it's just really hard, really, really hard. So I don't honestly think I have a favourite part. Next question. How Soph navigating life as big sister to Enzo? She is literally not phased at all. She notices him more now, and I think once he can walk and stuff and chase her around, she'll love it. But at the moment, she's literally just like, doesn't even know he's there half the time. Next one. How is Sophia generally? She looks to be walking fantastic now. So I think, yeah, I basically covered kind of how she is getting on. And yeah, she is walking really well now. So she only recently, well, I think it was about 6 months ago, she started walking at about 2.5. And it was one of those milestones that once she could do it, that was it. There was absolutely no stopping her, and she smashed it. So yeah, she is doing really well with that. And then the last question, did you find it harder going from 0 to 1 or 1 to 2 children? So a lot of people have different thoughts on this, and it is very personal, and I think it all depends on the kind of children that you have. And I'd even say that Joe would probably argue on this, and we'd probably have different opinions, because Soph as a baby was really hard work, and going from 0 to 1 is hard because you're learning everything. Learning on the job as well is hard. But I personally did find, and I'm still finding, that transition from 1 to 2 so much harder. And potentially a lot of that is because of Soph's needs and things, because she's, like I say, she's not a typical 3-year-old in that she can kind of communicate what she wants, and we can, you know, do all these nice things together in between me looking after Enzo. And, you know, if I'm doing something with him, I could say to her, oh, you know, mummy won't be a minute, and she'd kind of get it. Like, there's none of that. So in that respect, I find it really difficult. And I think in general, just kind of dividing my time, dividing yourself is just so hard. I think especially while they're both so young. I think it will differ obviously later on, but yeah, in general, that transition from 1 to 2 I found way harder, because, you know, even down to little things like, okay, the baby, when you have one, Enzo's awake, when the baby's up in the night, you can rest during the day. When you've got 2, that's not gonna fucking happen. And just little things like, yeah, you're exhausted from a day of looking after a baby, but your toddler still needs a cooked meal in the evening, or just food in general. You don't even have to cook, but just food in general. The fact that you've got to think about something else in the day, that you really just cannot fathom thinking about anything else, and you have to. Yeah, I just found that way harder, and still do. So anyways, I'm gonna go get him. I'm gonna call this vlog a day, because it's probably really long now that I've done this Q&A.
My tea's actually gone cold, I think, where I've left my lid off, which is a bit annoying. So yeah, I'm gonna love you and leave you. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions, by the way, always drop them in a comment and I can either include them in another vlog or I'll just answer them. But yeah, I hope you're all having a fantastic day and I will see you all very soon. Bye bye.